Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So it's time to create a bard character. I'm initially just going to go boring and choose a human and create a pretty similar looking character. And as we can see, here we can choose the bard as our ninth and new class. And here we have a few of the abilities on display here, from quick step, giving us the dodge ability, dancing light, high damage single target power, daily power I guess here, inspiration, along with tab ability, which is perform. So we'll continue and I'll set up this character. So here we'll begin our adventure as a bard, and we enter the Neverwinter fields. So I'm going to skip over most of this part. I believe I can hold skip there. Yeah, seems a bit different. And we're in the same kind of tutorial area. We have some dummies, that's unique. It's changed up a good bit. And I guess we are going to have to run through this tutorial before we can get anywhere really. Here we can pick up some gear, and we have our, what's it called? A simple loot. So we get a short sword and a loot. That's pretty cool. Our offhand is our instrument. So it's directing us to our powers. What do they do? It's wave our sword around. We have our duet. I guess it's just a twofold attack to nearby enemies. And we have a lunge, which should cause a stun, and has kind of a, you can do it twice. Some of those powers remind me a bit like Strad anyway. And we have a few of them locked there. And our shift ability, which is that. It's kind of just a lunge slide forward kind of thing. And I guess we're supposed to use an at-will on the dummy. Use an encounter power on the dummy. Yeah, hits all of them. That's pretty cool. And as we gotta go and fight through the forest. The dodge ability is definitely going to be something to get used to. I guess a bit stylish. What do we have to do now? Just fight our way through the forest. Kill off these enemies. I like that nice flourish. We have to defeat the zombies now. Our at-will, which is a flinch, which is pretty high single target damage. Cast time there, pretty long. And this is a fourfold attack, each one dealing as a cone. So that's better for against multiple guys. Here we're going to have to go and speak to Makos. And here we're just going to go and defend Makos, fight off these rotters. Speak to Celeste, just skip through what she says. And we got to go onto the bridge, and then we'll unlock our Protector's Enclave. And a big change is the max level is going to be 20. So you can see looking at these powers, currently we don't have a Paragon, but when we hit level 11, that is when we unlock our Paragon and our loadouts and so on. I'm not exactly sure what they've done, but looking at campaigns, you can see there's only these ones here. And we have a new thing like adventures and campaigns. Adventures are supposedly going to be like different things like quests you can do inside a campaign basically to gain extra rewards. I've yet to go and see what they're all about, but I'm sure I'll make a video on it in the future. Still aren't level 2, so we can't use our tab. Alright, we get our cutscene with Valindra, which we cannot skip, and we have to take on this monstrosity. And do we get our first daily power here? Doesn't seem to be the case. No, we just have to kill him with encounter powers. Dodging out of those. And yeah, so far I like the feel of the class, that's for sure, but there's definitely a lot we still have to experience. Just take this guy down with that fleesh. Speak to injured Makos, and that should be us going to Protector's Enclave. And I guess we're not actually properly in Protector's Enclave, or are we? He seems to be not up here anymore. So he's down here in the Trade of Blades. Okay then, I guess it's now called the Adventurers Guild. And yeah, it's been entirely reworked, and this was the area which we kind of got a sneak peek at through their blog. That is really cool, a new hub area. This is what we're gaining from our quests. They changed it up a bit to look pretty cool. So yeah, we're going to complete this and get to level 2. That's pretty awesome. So hitting level 2, we can now get access to our tab power and our song. We can also press our tab while we're out of combat and I guess just play some tunes. So that's just playing your lute, I guess is what it's called. It's gonna be pretty cool, pretty neat. Oh wow, you get a dodge and a roll. That's when I'm holding my lute. Along with that, we can take a sneak peek at the new artifact for the bard, we have the class sigil of the bard. And looking through it, it actually looks somewhat decent compared to the others at least, where we can gain Grand Standard's Ballad effect, which will effectively increase the amount of damage our attacks deal and will also buff up depending on your roll. As far as we know, bards can get a Paragon, which is a DPS, and a Paragon, which is a healer. So it'd be very interesting to see what is available to us when we do hit level 11. I'm going to have to be doing a bit of grinding before I can get to that. Who knows what we really have to complete, as it's been all reworked, this leveling process. I believe we're just going to have to jump through these certain zones, leveling up, I guess, linearly, as they're just going to direct us through each of them. But they seem to be able to give us decent rewards upon completing them. Like looking at Never Death, we're getting a health stone. Looking at Velos, we're getting an improved bag of holding. Abundance, we're getting an epic mount there, the Flail Snail. Icespire Peak, we're getting the Mystic Fiora. Pretty cool. The Chasm, we get a box with epic insignias and rank 8 single stat enchantments. And the Whispering Chasms, we get a rank 8 weapon enchantment. Other than that, this hub looks really cool. So, looking at the powers of the bard, first of all we have the at-wills, and the first two seem to be fairly basic. The Reprise is basically a melee at-will attack with an arc of 200 degrees, and it'll basically deal your AoE damage at 35 magnitude per strike, as we can see here when we attack the guy with our sword. Then we have the Fleesh, which is a high damage single target power. You can use it up to range 80, and you just like hurl magic, I guess, at your target like so. Then we have our encounter powers. We have the Duet, where you'll deliver a twofold attack to nearby enemies. So it's going to work like this. You press it, or your initial attack, and then hold it for your second attack, at which you burst out that 230 magnitude, and you'll daze them for 2 seconds. The next one is a lunge, where you'll lunge at a target, can be up to a range of 60 feet, and you can do it twice there, and you'll gain the added effect of stunning that target for 1 second. Then we have our Dancing Lights. It's a high damage single target power, where you'll daze them for 3 seconds, and also decrease the target's damage dealt by 5%. For a duration of 6 seconds, and that's this power. It puts all the orbs on it, and it's ranged up to 80. Then the one we can't access just yet, which is Flourish, and it'll basically just increase your next damage or healing power by 50%. And this duration is 9 seconds. And once activating any other encounter power or song, you'll reduce the cast time of this action for the next 4 seconds. Then we go to our dailies, and we have 2 of them, neither of them we have unlocked. We have Inspiration, where you'll buff up you and the nearest party member, so you'll gain immunity to most control effects and also reduce the damage taken and increase the damage dealt by 15%, duration 15 seconds. You'll also gain a heal over time of 200 magnitude for 12 seconds. Then we have the Blazing Encore, where you can go and deal fire damage to nearby enemies, and you'll also gain the added effect of increasing the magnitude of your attacks by 20, duration of 36 seconds, and you'll also increase the damage dealt by nearby party allies by 2%. Then with our mechanics, we have our Quick Step, which you can see is just this ability. And when we press our tab, we have our loot out, and we can dodge still using a roll. Then we have our tab, which is our perform, and this will interact directly with our song. So when we go ahead and tap our tab, you can see we can play any song when we're out of combat, pressing any series of notes. Then when we are in combat, we can press this ability again to go and hold that tab, and you press this series of keys. And when you press it right, you then activate that song. You can see, and we can go and attack while that song is active, and you can see it's active for a period of time, 36 seconds I believe, and this song will depend on which one you've chosen there. And this is the Blaming Flamengo, so it will give you those effects, as we can see, dealing initial fire damage, increasing the magnitude of attacks by 20 and converting the damage type to fire, That's another 36 seconds, and you'll increase the damage dealt by nearby party allies. So very similar to this Blazing Encourage. Anyway, then we go to our hold tab, and that's the one you do out of combat to do any of these notes, but you can record it then as like songs. Anyway, we'll get more into that in some other time. But these songs, we have 2 of them as we can see. The second one applies a heal over time to self and nearby allies of 100. Not too much, but I guess if it's over time and ticks every second, it could be pretty decent because it lasts 36 seconds. With regards to those songs, you effectively can cast them as quick as you want, right? So once you've activated it, we have to go in combat. We activate our song, and then we can cast it as quickly as we want. And then it activates, right? So the quicker you can cast it, better it is for you and your party. So then we finally go to class features. We have the Solace, where you deal more damage when you're by yourself. We have Songword, where you'll effectively gain like damage resistance, or be able to absorb damage up to 50% of incoming damage for 20% of your max health. Just gives you an extra survivability, I guess. And you'll also have an effect with your performance mode of effectively granting you immunity to most control effects. Then we have our Mystifying Strikes. This one's rather complex, where your attacks will apply Mystic to your target. You'll deal psychic damage over time of 50 magnitude. However, when another player strikes that target, you'll deal a burst of 400 magnitude, and the triggering player will receive a heal of 400 magnitude. And then we have our next one, which gives us a ability to gain just 5% more outgoing damage and healing. And that's it, really. And that's all we have for our powers as a bard on level 2. We will go and grind out to get to level 11 and unlock the 2 Paragons, and then I'll make an updated video on what extra we reveal. Hopefully I presented this well. If I did, consider the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.